And now after 5 years of preparation, अब मुझे corporate में घुसना है. I have no skill set, I have no contacts, I have nothing. And this is what isolation does to you. ये मैं आधे घंटे से बैठी हूँ. मैं अपना रेज्यूमे मैं अपना ज़िंदगी का पहला रेज्यूमे बनाने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. एंड मैं अपने आप को इतने नेगेटिवली देखती हूँ कि मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा मैं इसमें लिखूँ क्या, मैं इसमें ऐड क्या करूँ. क्योंकि I have excellent communication skills. I've done a lot of personal projects. I have some achievements from school and college. I have some achievements in qualifying some exams as well. I know I'm proficient in a lot of language. Like, I'm really proficient in English. I have a lot of different interests. And मतलब लिखने बैठूंगी तो हाथ दुख जाएंगे. And my education has been decent, although I did not study beyond graduation. And I have no work experience and stuff. And मुझे समझ ही नहीं आ रहा मैं लिखूँ क्या. I do not even see myself as capable of building a resume, as capable of presenting myself in a positive light. This is what isolation does to you.
Not even a single individual in the market would talk about this. Not even a single individual would have established connections between UPSC prep and what you write in your CV. But we bring this out to you as part of this video. Hi everyone. My name is Akshat and I'm a co-founder at Rebounds. Today I'm going to be talking about another very interesting, very pertinent topic which many UPSC aspirants struggle with. The topic is how to write about UPSC prep on CV, right? When you prepare for UPSC, invariably you end up spending, anywhere from 2 to 5, maybe more than that, years exclusively preparing for UPSC. Now, as we all know, the outcomes are uncertain. Only a very minuscule 0.01% or something like that qualify for this examination, find their name in the final list. What happens to the rest? The rest have to come to the market, build their CV and start looking out for roles, right? That is where you start thinking about, okay, I've spent so much time preparing for this examination and not doing anything else. How should I now write about it on my CV? People are super confused about it and end up making a lot of mistakes. Let's go through it one by one. So there are two questions typically which people deal with. One, where to write, in which section of the CV should you write about or should people write about their UPSC prep? And the second is what to write. Okay, if this question is settled, where to write, the second part is what to write. Now, this is where I've seen a lot of variability in a lot of CVs, which we within Rebounds have been reviewing for the last 2.5, 3 years. Some people say, look, have it covered as part of their education. They say that they have spent, 3 years, 4 years preparing for UPSC. It would figure in as part of their education. But guys, is it really education? Are you getting a degree, diploma, 2 year, 3 year, whatever, at the end of this prep? Is Government of India certifying that you did prepare for this examination and this is what you have gained? Like, is the government awarding you a degree? The answer is no. So if it is not a degree, if it is not a diploma, how can it figure it under the education section? Think about it, right? So education section is not the place, not the right place to write about UPSC prep. Howsoever much you might have gained as part of this preparation, people say that, look, preparing for an optional is equivalent to preparing, doing a UG in that particular subject. Maybe, might be, that is true. But still, that doesn't mean you have it as part of the education, right? Next, what I've seen in a lot of times is people write about UPSC prep as part of work experience. But think about it, guys. Is it actually a work experience? Full-time or part-time doesn't matter, but is it a work experience? Would it qualify as a work experience? Now, tomorrow, if you are shortlisted for a role, if you are offered a role, the employer would ask, boss, give me a proof of this work experience. Would you be able to do that? The answer is a big no. It is not formally considered as a work experience. Yes, you were after a particular, endeavor. You wanted to do something. You spent few years of your life doing it, but that doesn't qualify as a work experience, right? So it would be incorrect, absolutely incorrect, to write it as part of work experience. Also, guys, another thing to note here is, yes, you might be very passionate about UPSC. You have spent time preparing for UPSC. Still, there might be many employers in the market who might not even have a basic fundamental idea of what this UPSC is all about, right? So no point writing it as part of your education, no point writing it as part of your experience, because it is neither experience nor education, right? Now the question is then, where should you be writing about it? What is the right place where this part around UPSC prep should be covered? Is it skills? Some people mention it as part of skills, right? You can say, XYZ things you're prepared for UPSC under skill section. Again, is it actually a skill? Maybe yes, maybe no, there can be debates around it. But in my opinion, skills has a particular connotation to it. You got to be writing about skills which you are good at and which might be relevant for the role which you are applying, right? Still not the best section when it comes to writing about UPSC prep as part of the skills section, right? So the question is, where should you be writing about UPSC prep in your CV? And the answer is this: achievements and other endeavors section. If you don't have one, create one. If you already have one, this is one section where you should be writing about your UPSC prep. Now, in most CVs which we review, there is this section around achievements. You can reword it and you can say that the section header can say that achievements and other endeavors. Other endeavors is the part where UPSC prep should figure in on your CV. It goes with the section sentiment, and it is also the right place where you got to be mentioning about it. It is an endeavor which you were into and spent few years of your life doing, right? So this is the right section, guys. If you do not have one, create one. If you have a lot of achievements to talk about, you can create another section on your CV which would be about other endeavors, and you should write about UPSC prep there. Or you can merge the two sections. You can have just one section which talks about achievements and other endeavors, and you should write about UPSC prep there. Not experience, not education, because it is neither experience nor education. It is an endeavor which you decided to undertake, and hence it deserves a mention as part of the endeavors section. Okay, so this part is now clear, crystal clear. I don't think that there should be any more doubts about it. If you have a section, write about UPSC prep there. If you do not have a section, create one. But you should not talk about UPSC prep in education, experience, or skills. That would be an incorrect thing to say, right? Now the next question comes, okay, we know it should be covered as part of achievements and other endeavor section. The next question is what to write. Here also, people make a lot of mistakes. I have gone through a lot of CVs. People are passionate about UPSC prep. They have spent years preparing for it. They tend to become emotional, in the absence of the right word, and talk about things like the most difficult examination in the world, qualification rate being 0.001, 0.01%, whatever. You have qualified pre 3 times, success rate is only ABC percent. You have qualified mains 2 times, 3 times, reached main stage 2 times, 3 times, success rate is so and so. Reached interview stage, did ABC, XYZ with so much so success rate. Had economics, public administration, sociology as optional and carry extensive subject matter expertise equivalent to a degree program, this and that. Or some people even go to the extent of mentioning marks achieved at the pre-stage, main stage, this and that, and so many other things. Employers doesn't care about you. Not even 1%. It really doesn't matter to them, even if you have appeared for interview back-to-back 5 times. Trust me. Some might not even know, like I was saying before, what this UPSC is all about. Some might not even know what this optional subject is all about. Some might not even know what is this pre-mains, etc., etc. Do they really care about it? Absolutely no. For them, people who have failed prelims maybe 5 times versus people who have qualified mains 5 times might be exactly the same. Right? It really doesn't matter to them, guys. Trust me. So no point writing these points on your CV. They don't carry any brownie points. Even if you have qualified pre, mains, whatever, reached to interview, for employers, it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. 0%. What matters to them is what have you gained out of these years spent in preparing for UPSC, which is relevant for the role which you are applying. If you are able to bring that out, establish that connection, job done. Your CV will be appreciated. People would like reading about it. People would know that you are smart enough to establish that connection. Even if there are employers who do not know about UPSC, they would know that you have written things on your CV which are relevant to the job description. But in emotions driven by sentiments, if you write all of these things which are there on the CV, it won't add anything. Employers just don't care. Being in UPSC or being in competitive examinations pre is very different from getting into the market. Market values, skills, knowledge which you carry. So you have to showcase that well. As part of UPSC prep, you gain a lot of knowledge, you gain a lot of understanding and maybe some bit of skill. Hence, you have to be smart about it, innovative about it in terms of what you write when it comes to the linkage between UPSC prep and roles in the market. And this is where I cover this particular slide. Instead of talking about these things, if you talk about these things on your CV, the quality of your CV will go up multiple notches with high probability of being shortlisted because employers would consider you smart enough to establish that connection between your UPSC, the time you have spent preparing for UPSC, what you have gained out of it, and what is from out of that, what is relevant for this role. Ultimately, what they're assessing you for is not that you have qualified pre 5 times or qualified mains 5 times. What they are trying to assess you is, do you carry fundamental knowledge and skills relevant for the role which you're applying for? If you can establish the connection, job done, right? And these are some of the keywords which you can use to establish the connections. You can say, for example, things like explored interdisciplinary subjects like PubAd, economics, IR through self-study and structured preparation, especially relevant for roles in public policy and political consulting. You can talk about things like strengthening time management, discipline, productivity, resilience, which are important in all roles, more so for consulting related roles. You can say things like research and analyze schemes, policies, editorials, reports, comprehended them, created essays, summaries, etc., which is a signal that you have good writing skills which are valuable in any role, right? You can say things like, you analyze union budgets, evaluated flagship schemes, this and that. All of these carry value, worth, gold on your CV if you are able to justify it properly. Okay? So these are some of the points. You can note those down. You can pick up the relevant ones, not all, make it part of your CV. You can, reword these points as per the role which you are applying for and as per your own knowledge, etc. from the UPSC prep and write about it, right? But please guys, I know it's a sentimental journey. We are all driven by those sentiments and we end up writing these things. But trust me, I myself hired or been hiring in the market for the last 5 years. Also from an employer perspective speaking, it really doesn't matter in the market. What matters is this: establishing connections between your learnings and the role. Some of the bullet points are already here. If you are able to establish that connection, write it well in just maybe 2 to 3 bullet points, not more than that, job done. Your CV quality would go up, your chances of shortlist would also go up, and you would be able to better capture those years which you have spent preparing on your CV. Okay guys, so please follow this approach both from the point of view of where to write about UPSC prep on your CV and how to write about it, and trust me, the quality of your CV would be improving multiple notches and your CV would stand out in the market. Hope this video was useful. If it is, kindly follow us, like, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be bringing up more such important content in future. Thank you so much guys.